In this demonstration, we're going to talk about dynamic case management and how it differs from traditional process management. A traditional BPM process-centric approach is very good for back-end integration, style processing, and simple workflow where the interaction between processes and humans is relatively linear. Where case management differs is it is much more suitable for interactions that are more complex or knowledge-driven, or when humans need to make decisions about what happens next in a process. And there's interaction between different people and different roles, and indeed different back-end systems. Particularly useful in things like investigative applications or insurance type applications, anywhere where there is a much more human-centric type workflow and real-world interaction between people. So let's have a look at the demonstration. The demonstration we're going to look at shows a credit card processing application. What we're looking at here is the business process model for that application, and we'll see from the start of the process, which is where the customer fills in a form online to apply for a credit card, through creation of that request in the back-end systems, talking externally to credit reference agencies, deciding based upon a credit score whether to approve or reject the process. What we can see is this is a very linear process, it's very defined, there is a clear start and a clear end. To highlight the difference between business process management and case management, we need to go into the credit analysis phase of this process. And what we can see here is a nested case model when we go through the medium risk part of this application. If I click on credit analysis, then we will switch to the case model, which is where the first time in this process that people get involved in making decisions. First thing to notice are the green boxes. These represent the states of this case, and we can move freely between states. So for example, when we are analysing in the analysis state, we can send tasks to the fraud investigation team over on the right, and they can send them back to the credit analysis team. Now, we can go to and fro between those two states as many times as we like, sending information each way as appropriate. Another thing to notice about the case model is not all of the activities are connected. As an example here, when we are actioning the credit request, we have these disconnected actions also within the state. The reason these are disconnected is because they are optional, and based upon what the person who is doing this task sees, or what the person knows, or the current status of the application, they could choose to either do these follow-up actions or not. Other things we can see within the case model are nested sub-processes. So for example, when a approval has been granted, we move into the approve state, and that approve state actually runs a sub-process, and it is exactly the same sub-process that would have been used back in our original process had we have gone through the automatic approval phase. To see how this manifests itself to the end users, let's have a look at the demonstration itself. What we're looking at here is the portal front end to this credit card application, and what I'm going to do is log in as an existing customer of the bank, and I'm going to request a new credit card. I'm going to fill in this form. And then when I press submit, the information that I have filled in the form gets passed to the process and the business process gets started. Because of the combination of values that I've entered into this form, when run through the rule set, we go to the medium risk category within the process, and therefore we drop into the case model, and employees of the bank have to look at my application before it can be processed. So let's switch to the employee view, and what I'm going to do is log in as an employee of the bank. And the first thing we'll see here is the Cordis inbox, which is where tasks are delivered to anybody who is a part of a process or a case model within the Cordis platform. And we can see here on the left I am in the role of credit agent, And if I click on the role of credit agent, we can see the evaluate credit request task that has been delivered to me. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And what we'll notice is a composite application delivering to me some information about the customer, some that has come from a back-end system, some that was entered into the form on the web, and some that's come from another banking system. What we'll notice on the right are those optional follow-ups that I have. So here we're looking at the follow-ups as they were on the case model that we looked at the beginning. And I can choose one or more of these follow-ups based upon what I decide to do relevant to the information that I'm looking at right now. The true power of making this dynamic case management is the ability to dynamically add automatic or manual follow-ups to the case model, so that the next time this credit request is processed, then we'll see the additional follow-ups listed here. So let's go ahead and close this. And what I'm going to do is switch back to the development side of the application. So we'll switch back to our case model. And in the case model, in the analysis phase, I'm going to add another activity. So this is simply a case of clicking on the case model and adding an activity. And what I'll do is we will call this activity create meeting with customer, and then I'm simply going to save the process model and publish that to our live environment. And now the next time this case model is run, then we should see the additional automated follow-up. Back at the portal for the credit card application, I'm going to log in again as an employee. And what we'll see now in the inbox, if I go to the correct role on the left-hand side of credit agent, we'll now see a new task has come in as this application has run through again. And if I open up the new task, what we will see is, as well as the information that we saw before, over on the right hand side we now have a new follow-up task for create meeting with the customer. So what we've seen in this demonstration is the difference between business process management and case management, but more importantly the ability to modify those processes or cases as the business changes without having to revert to lengthy IT development cycles.